constant fighting that followed, the United States sank every one of the Japanese aircraft carriers, battleships, and cruisers of the Pearl Harbor Task Force. Nagasaki, the city where the special armor-busting bombs were made, was destroyed by a U.S. atomic bomb on August 9th of 1945. Mike Burke from Galveston, Texas. Behind him, Patrick Hutchins in 0111 from Bayou Vista, Texas. Behind Patrick is Jim Ryan from Deanville, Texas, south of Sugar Land. And Dan Reedy from Pearland, Texas in 0114. Following him in the Cape Torpedo Bomber, Bill Beer from Austin, Texas. Following Beer in Val 78, Doug Durr from the Woodlands, north of Houston. And 0112, Bobby Covington from Conroe, Texas. The B-17 flown today by John, but it was soon learned that the B-17s were not very efficient in that role. So by mid-1943, most fortresses had been withdrawn from the Pacific in favor of the longer-range B-24 Liberator. The B-24 was better suited for operations in the Pacific, having a higher speed and a larger bomb load at medium altitude. At the time, B-17s were desperately needed in the European theater and doing
those attacking German fighters to increase their survivability. Then the P-51 Mustang was outfitted with special non-strategic material kind of papier-mâché drop tanks, extending their range so they could support these bombers as they flew not only to the target, but all the way back, fending off those Luftwaffe fighters.
Exactly. And you know, if you remember back then, General Ira Aker told the...
Lockheed Martin is proud to support the United States Marine Corps and their F-35 Lightning II, the most advanced fighter aircraft in the world. The F-35B's short takeoff and vertical landing capability provides basic flexibility operating from land bases, amphibious ships, or expeditionary airfields to support MAGTF operations. The Lightning II combines stealth and cutting-edge sensor technology to deliver the future of Marine Corps aviation. Whether it's close air support, armed reconnaissance, or deep air support, the F-35B is ready to fight today.
Ladies and gentlemen, overhead now with Pyro. Coming through right now, the F6F Hellcat and the F8F Bearcat, two of the premier Navy aircraft. One has served greatly in World War II. One came into the war after that. But on targets in Tokyo, Osaka, Nagoya, Kobe, and Yokohama. Here come the North American B-25 PBJ and the B-25, the Mitchell bombers. Flying past us, it was an airplane that outclassed everything the Americans had at the beginning of World War II. With a top speed of over 350 miles per hour, it was fast, it was maneuverable, it was potent, and nobody believed that the Japanese could do it. Coming through after World War I, racing airplanes, training, developing newer technologies for airplanes, was tasked with leading the raid, and he went to the men of the 17th Bomb Group who had just received the B-25 Mitchell bomber and told them that he had a secret mission. He couldn't tell them the target, and all he could tell them was that there was a great likelihood that they would not survive that mission. And he needed from the USS Hornet aircraft carrier that was later sunk, and most recently, just in the last month or so, was discovered. These 16 planes launched from the carrier and reached their target after they reached the coast and successfully bombed their targets. Strategically, very little damage was done. I should say tactically, very little damage was done. But strategically, it was a huge win for the Americans. Nobody believed that they could accomplish that kind of a mission. these airplanes, and it was strategically so important that personnel and materiel that were needed by the Japanese out in the Pacific to fight the war were kept at home for homeland defense. It shook the Japanese people, and it gave a boost to the Americans' morale that was very important, and it changed the course of the war. As we see the Bearcat and the Hellcat fly by. And then to Grumman Bearcats, and continued to fly Grumman aircraft for about 20 years. Here come the B-25s again. After they reached their targets, they flew into worsening weather. Out after they ran out of gas. All the airplanes were lost. Jimmy Doolittle, Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Doolittle, thought he would be court-martialed, but instead, because of the 80 men who participated in that mission, one is still alive today. He is 103-year-old Richard Cole, who was the co-pilot on Jimmy, fly these planes as custodians so that the story of air power and what was done to protect our way of life will never be forgotten. Flying the Hellcat today is Rob Lips-Hurtenberg. He flew F-16. The Zero's flown today by John Goldsby. That's the F6F Hellcat. Bearcat's rolling in next. You can see it to the left.
Are we doing one more, or are we going to go to a left downwind? Let's do one more and then break.
Here comes the F8F Bearcat. Volunteers, the pilots, the crews, support personnel from the SoCal wing and the Mesa wing of the Commemorative Air Force. They're going to bring it into land. One more thing about the Japanese Zero that was flown today. As I mentioned at the beginning of the war, the American